what is the different in management strategies of newborn who are born to a suspected or a confirmed COVID-19 positive mother? First of all, there are no conflicts of interest, and as we know, like the disease is evolving and the management strategies keep on changing. So, as in when we are getting more evidence how to manage these newborns, the guidelines keep on changing. So, whatever I tell today might be something different tomorrow, but overall the logic remains the same. The management might be somewhat different later on. So I'll be covering the topics under like what is different in neonatal resuscitation, how do you care for such newborns, how do you do for feeding strategies in these newborns, how do you test these newborns, what is different in respiratory support in between the COVID positive and COVID negative baby, and something about immunization and follow, and a word about how do you counsel. So before I go further, I would like to emphasize the fact that the care areas for babies who are born to suspected or confirmed new COVID positive mothers should be different from the whatever you care for those who are negative. So you should ideally have a dedicated COVID hospital during the labor or when mother is getting delivered, whether in the labor room or in the operation theater. This room should be ideally negative pressure airborne room, and it should be separate from other areas of the COVID hospital. And the room where you will have to resuscitate the newborn at the time of birth should be a separate room. It should not be like within the should not ideally should be you having a separate adjacent room. It should not be far away, but however in many times you do not get this kind of facility. So what you can do is you create a newborn corner which is inside the labor room or an operation theater, which is at least 2-meter distance or 6 feet distance from the mother's bed. Then if the baby is stable, the baby can be kept with the mother, maintaining a 6 feet or 2-meter distance. The mother will touch the baby only while caring or feeding the baby, and other times the baby can be kept on the bassinet. You can achieve this by keeping the bassinet at the foot end of the mother's bed. So the distance of at least 2 meters is maintained. If the baby is sick, he should be cared in an isolation separate room or a common facility, but the bed should be at the distance of 2 meters or 6 feet. He should be cared in a closed incubator. This is what is desirable because you have to prevent aerosol dispersion. So closed incubators are preferred. However, many times this also is not available at many situations. So what you can do is you can create a radiant warm and cover it with a cling wrap from all sides. So you can create an artificial incubator type of things so as to prevent the aerosol dispersions. So, the other thing is like the mother and baby has to be simultaneously discharged, and you can follow up them telephonically. Regarding the personnel, minimum number of personnel should be involved in the management. I will be covering on later, and also all the personnel which is who are involved should follow all the personal protective hygiene, and you wear personal protective suits including hats, goggles, gloves and masks. So what is different in neonatal resuscitation? So if a baby's mother is COVID positive or her report is awaited and she is suspected but she's in labor, the neonatal resuscitation should be done as per the standard guidelines. Apart from that, we have a separate room or a corner which is 2 meters away from the mother's bed. If the delivery, like the mother is a low risk and a normal delivery, no major risk factors to the mother, only a single person is required for resuscitation. However, you may not anticipate and there might be help required. So a standby person who is wearing full PPE and N95 should be outside the room. So whenever is required, you can call them. For high-risk deliveries, at least 2 people wearing all full PPE and N95 goggles, everything should be there. Mother should wear at least a triple layer face mask, and she should perform a hand hygiene. Delayed cord clamping is recommended and should be practiced if the baby does not require immediate resuscitation. Skin to skin care has to be avoided in order to prevent the transmission or minimize the risk from the mother to the baby. The indications of intubation are as per the usual standard NRP guidelines. There is no difference. However, one has to be careful while performing intubation. One can stand up in upright position and try to do it and should not get very close to it. Alternately, you can use an aerosol box with that, but that is somewhat difficult, so it may not be feasible. Endotracheal use of medication should be avoided in order to prevent dispersion of the aerosols. So these precautions can be taken, should be taken while performing a neonatal resuscitation at the time of birth. For babies who are stable, who are born to suspected or confirmed COVID-19 positive mother, or who are accidentally exposed to the relative or anybody else who is COVID positive. So these baby can be cared in cared with mother with, like I have always told, that should maintain a 2-meter or a 6 feet distance. The bassinet can be kept at the foot end of the mother's bed. A healthy caregiver. The healthy caregiver means who is not exposed to COVID positive patient or mother can be volunteered to give care for both mother and the baby in the perinatal period. Mother should wash hand frequently before breastfeeding and wear mask all the time. It is desirable that the mother should wear a clean clothes before breastfeeding the baby, and can be like a clean gown she can wear and then remove it after the breastfeeding, and mask should be all at all the times. And the mother baby diet must be isolated from other suspected and infected cases. If the baby is not with the mother, like if the mother is sick or the baby is sick, then the express breast milk can be fed by the nurse or the healthy caregiver. Nowadays, the recent evidence is like a recent report suggests that there is a evidence of a virus in the breast milk also. So one may do a boiling of the express milk before feeding the baby. So bathing may be done, but you have to take all precaution to avoid risk of hypothermia. So sick neonates who are born to suspected or confirmed COVID-19 positive mother. So they are ideally cared in a separate isolation room, which is negative airborne rooms preferred. Close incubator and maintaining 2-meter social distancing from other bed if you do not have a separate isolation room. If you do not have closed incubator, again radiant warmer with cling wrap cover you can use. If the room is air conditioned, you should ensure that the 12 air changes, at least 12 air changes are there per hour. And the staff which is caring for these babies should be separate, trained staff, and use full standard precautions, wear all personal protective equipment. Coming to the testing strategies for neonates, when do you test these babies? So if there is a history of exposure, then the mother had COVID-19 infection within 14 days before birth, or there is a history of contact with COVID-19 positive person in the postnatal period, then it should be done at the time of birth if the mother had COVID-19 infection, or at the detection of history of contact with the COVID-19 positive person. But if it's due to logistic reason, if it is not obtained at birth, it should be done as soon as possible. Until then, rooming in may be avoided. If the first test is negative, repeat test should be done after 5 to 14 days of birth or exposure. However, if the baby is symptomatic, like he has respiratory distress, lethargy, seizures, apnea, refusal to feed, diarrhea, then irrespective of the status, you have to do a newborn testing to be done for the COVID-19 thing. If there is irrespective of history of exposure, if the baby present, again the same thing, baby presents with pneumonia, severe acute respiratory illness that requires hospitalization with onset at more than 48 to 72 hours of age, unless there is an underlying illness that completely explains the respiratory signs and symptoms. But in present situation, I think you should all do that thing, do testing. So what sample? It is a nasopharyngeal or a oropharyngeal swab in newborn as well. What is different in the respiratory support? You should always try to get a do lung protective ventilation strategies. Always prefer non-invasive respiratory support. CPAP remains the first line of support, followed by NIPPV, non-invasive positive pressure ventilation, and high flow nasal cannula. And intubation, again, whatever the usual indications are there. one thing you can do is to prevent the aerosol dispersion is use of aerosol box. But this kind of stuff can be prepared with your simple head box, which we use to give oxygen support to the baby. So what you can do is you put a head box on the baby's head and who is receiving non-invasive ventilation support, and cover it from the with clean wrap to minimize the aerosol dispersion. So one can create an aerosol box with your help of your head box as well. All contact and droplet precaution to be followed, and use of PPE and N95 has to be done by the healthcare workers. As far as newborns are concerned, there is no specific therapy, and only the babies. We are lucky in that sense that the babies will be. There are not much report of very sick babies because of COVID-19. The reason for sickness is other than COVID-19. So there is no specific treatment for newborns. It's only the supportive management. And once the baby is negative and the mother, if the stable baby, the baby is stable, he can be discharged once the mother is discharged. The baby is 6, once the baby becomes stable and COVID negative, he can be discharged. The follow-up is mainly the via telemedicine or telephonic follow-up. You will have to call the baby only if you feel that you cannot, like you want to actually really see the baby and examine the baby. Most of the things can be managed nowadays with telephonically or via telemedicine. You can do video calling and use WhatsApp thing, and this is going to be a trend for some time now. Word about immunization. Birth vaccination has to be done before discharge from hospital, so that you do not call like again and again to the hospital and increase the risk of exposure. You should do all routine immunization, but primary series, that primary immunizations should not be prolonged. MMR and varicella should not be prolonged. Influenza vaccine has to be given for babies more than 6 months of age. And you should try to club all in vaccination as feasible in one visit. And it's a good idea that you should have an appointment system, so that you call only the specific number of babies for vaccination and avoid overcrowding in your clinics, and follow all social distancing. Booster doses may be prolonged if situation arises, and it is without much risk. And all precautions, hand hygiene, social distancing has to be followed while giving immunization. Counseling, written consent during treatment in hospital has to be taken. A self-declaration form to be given to the parents, maybe alternate day or daily, so that if they develop any new symptoms, they should be like we should not just focus on baby, but we should focus on parents as well, because they will be going out, they will be visiting places, and then come to NICU care for baby. So you should always do self-declaration, or take parents' history at least daily, that whether they are developing any symptoms or not. And counseling also can be done telephonically or through via telemedicine medium or your video calling, because you also don't want to get exposed to the parents who will not be like completely staying in the hospital. They can go out and do that. But if you're doing physical, you should maintain a distance of 2 meters. And counseling should include points regarding general care, feeding, if testing is required, isolation, prognosis, and the finances as per the hospital policy. A word about how do you enhance immunity in newborn. So it begins with the mother. Your mother's nutrition, maternal nutrition should be taken care of. They should care of, control the maternal diseases. Mothers can be immunized with influenza during pregnancy as well. So though it is not for COVID-19, but maternal immunization should be complete to prevent other diseases. Try to prevent prematurity as visible. You should use antibiotic stewardship, not rampant use of antibiotics. Do antibiotic stewardship, whatever is required to be given. Human milk, always human milk. Probiotics are found to be enhancing the immunity in newborns. Avoidance of antacids and PPIs in newborn. And while giving respiratory support, you should use heating and humidification in order to optimize the function of the the cilia of the respiratory tract. Then in the postnatal, you should have an immunization complete exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. take care of micronutrients, optimize growth, and balance diet in infancy, and hand hygiene and personal hygiene and sanitation to be followed at all times. So these are my resources and references which I have used for this presentation. And this is the contact information of our hospital, and we have this WhatsApp facility where we can give opinions to the other peripheral health doctors. So we have created this. So the numbers is 8004904484. So one can log on to our website and see our resources from that as well. This is our email ID. Thank you for your kind attention.